Hello, my name is Maja Milatovic-Ovadia and I'm a theatre director from former Yugoslavia. In this presentation, I'll be talking about theatre, post-war reconciliation and comedy. I will look into 4 theatre projects that I facilitated with young people in northern Bosnia. And I will talk about comedy and how the comedy can function as a vehicle to address social taboos, to investigate the interplay between personal and collective memories, and to support the complex process of reconciliation. This is especially relevant in circumstances where one couldn't tackle the issues of war crimes and segregation in a straightforward and direct manner. This theater story is happening in Prijedor in northern Bosnia. Bosnia and Herzegovina was part of Yugoslavia, and a country that in 1991 slipped into very bloody disintegration. So between 1992 and 1995, Bosnian War led to a death of some 140,000 people, displacement of 2 million people, and abuse of human rights on a large scale, meaning that concentration and rape camps were formed and genocide was committed, and systematic, as well as systematic destruction of cultural heritage. Prijedor is the area where infamous concentration camps Omorska Trnopolje and Kereten were based, and where several mass graves were discovered after the war. 30 people from this region has been already convicted at the International Crime Tribunal for the crimes against humanity. And this is also a place where former political and military leaders, Karadzic and Mladic, both sentenced for crimes against humanity, are often celebrated as war heroes. The war ended 25 years ago, yet Bosnian society has to come to terms with the past. The process of the reconciliation is slow due to one-sided official narration of the conflict, denial or relativization of the war crimes, and factual manipulation that is used to drastically reshape history into the desired national paradigm. Memory that was used very selectively from all sides played a crucial role in outbreak of violence, justification of the conflict, and spread of fear and hate. Today the shooting stopped, but memory war is not over yet. It is continued through education, through history books, literature, theater, films, as well as allowed or forbidden memorials. Establishing new truth-telling, shared and recognized narrative about the recent past is a very complex issue, especially because the opposing sides have different understanding and experience of the conflict. Furthermore, the everyday life is deeply affected by economic hardship, a high level of corruption, and extreme emigration. Using theater to deal with war legacy and segregation is particularly challenging in the circumstances where trauma cannot be addressed in a straightforward and direct manner, as this would lead participants to become withdrawn or dialogue to collapse. Or you just wouldn't have any participants. So quite often people are reluctant to participate in reconciliation projects as they are suspicious or unwilling or scared to confront the main narrative, or they are just tired of difficult stories. So for the last 10 years, I collaborate with a small UK charity called Most Mira that is using art to create a space where young people from opposing sides can meet in a creative and fun environment. and they can create their own memories, individual memories about the other that could challenge imposed collective and political memories. The focus is on young people, on second generation. They're all born after the war, but the war still plays a strong part in their everyday life. So they live in ethnically homogeneous towns or villages. They go to ethnically segregated schools where they are taught different histories about the war, and and their stereotypes and the negative perception of the other is institutionalized and adds to interethnic tension. So after a series of several art festivals and two theater projects called Shakespeare's Comedies, in 2016 I set up a pilot theater project that would examine further the possibility of using comedy in the process of reconciliation. So this time not only as a valuable instrument to creating a safe space, but this time as a narrative that could address the issues of recent past. So the project was based on three main principles. Devising a full-length performance that would start from just one word. Then collaboration and ensemble work was the main method of creating this theater piece. And comedy was chosen as a genre. And then over a period of 3 months, and that's important at the length, the group of 23 young people from ethnically, academically, and socioeconomically diverse backgrounds, supported by 5 local facilitators and 4 international artists, guest artists, worked as an ensemble to create a new theater piece that will be performed in city theater. In post-conflict societies, the stories need to be chosen with extreme care and sensitivity, starting from one word instead of someone's story or a play was important as it offered creative freedom of interpretation. Then it unlocked different stories and it widened the personal responses. Saying that, the words were carefully chosen. So for the first project, the word was voice, and it meant to question who doesn't have a voice in society, as well as to highlight this silence around crimes in the recent past. Then the following project had the word mustaches, because from this previous project what came up was this the patriarchy as something that we would like to talk about. After mustaches, the third project had the memory as a prompt word, and then the last project was land. So in Bosniano, in Serbo-Croat, land or zemlja has a meaning. It means country as well as soil or earth. The second important principle of the project was collaboration. Collaboration worked on several levels. There was intergroup collaboration where all the participants worked together to create the story, to develop and devise characters, as well as to compose music and create design for the final performance. Then there was international collaboration because these international artists would come and run more specific art-related workshops, and then they brought different approaches to theater making, and then there was this intergenerational collaboration because facilitators as well as artists were older, and also status-wise, this collaboration actually kind of challenged this hierarchical traditional approach to theater making as well as education. So All these kind of complexities of collaboration enabled participants, and actually enabled all of us, to step out of our comfort zones and to open our minds to differences and diversities. Comedy was a third important part of the project. Through history and across cultures, there are examples where how jokes, laughter, and humor worked as a survival mechanism as well as a form of resistance. But comedy is not a very usual choice for post-war reconciliation theater practice. However, the experience of these projects suggests that comedy was very effective in creating inviting and safe space. Then it was very constructive in questioning the society and can be very supportive instrument for transformation. So in the workshops, humor played an important role in breaking the ice and creating unity within the group. So when reflecting on what was important and significant for them in the process, young people emphasized three things. So creation of new friendships, then this atmosphere of joy and laughter, and freedom of expression. So I would suggest that this feeling of joy and this feeling of inclusion can be seen as a reason for some social boundaries to be pushed, as well as some status divisions to be challenged, and some disagreements to be effectively expressed in a less confrontational way. From the first workshop, it was evident that all the drama improvisations possessed very strong criticism of contemporary social reality, and they were very funny. So work drew humor from situations, from characters, from dialogue, from physicality of the characters, whilst talking about the very important social issues, such as suppressed voice of youth due to the strong patriarchal values, exploitation of labor, dysfunctional administration, corruption that penetrates all level of society, division within society, as well as silence around last wars. So the comedy storyline often draws us into a dark and tragic world of misfortune, where injustice is done and characters suffer trouble. However, the fortunate resolution turned this tragedy into a comedy. So by joking about dysfunctions in their society, participants read out their wish for change. The optimism and hope prevailed through the process as well as content. And this fortunate resolution of the play is very important. The purpose of happy ending is not merely to offer a feel-good effect in contrast to a grim reality, but rather to empower, to call to action, and to envisage a better future. This sort of encounter is not going to change society overnight, but it can be considered as a small step into opening up a dialogue. So what this theatre project managed to achieve is to enable young people to begin to create their own memories of the other and their own experience of the other. And to challenge and to question imposed narratives. So, and through working and laughing together, they questioned the world and reflected the world around them, and they found common ground. So that's it. Thank you for listening.